Hello everyone and welcome to another video that involves a computer that I got for free. So I got this computer free from my dad's friend's son, I believe. So I'm really grateful for that. So basically in this video, I'm going to take you through the system. I have not really looked at the system at all before making this video, so this is a fresh video. And it's quite interesting to dig into these systems to see what they're like. So at the top here, we're going to start on the front basically. We have a DVD writer, so that's really nice. We also have another 5¼ inch expansion bay. Coming down, we have something that's quite unusual to see on the front panel, behind this door. We have the 3 audio jacks, so speakers, microphone and headphones right there on the front, and also you can see 2 USB ports and a Firewire port. I assume they're USB 2.0. And then coming down we have a Hewlett-Packard logo, so this is a HP machine. We have a power button, I assume that's a reset button, and then we have a Windows XP sticker, powered by ATI Radeon graphics sticker and an AMD Sempron sticker. So I get excited about everything apart from the Sempron sticker. So I think we better move on to the back. So we're at the back of the system now. Luckily it's a standard ATX system, so it's going to be really easy to work on if I can find something to do with it. We have standard power supply fan, an IEC connector right here, no power switch on the power supply, which is quite interesting. Down here we have a standard either 80 or 90mm fan. Coming over to the motherboard itself, we have PS2 keyboard and mouse. We have our parallel port or printer port or whatever the hell they are. VGA connection, so this motherboard does have integrated graphics. We have a Firewire port, 4 USB ports, an Ethernet port, a digital audio output in coaxial form, along with our red, green and blue audio outputs and input yet again. And then down here of course we have the PCI section, and there's a modem, I believe, sitting in the bottom one. And just in case anyone's interested, you can pause on that label if you fancy reading any of the info, but it's kind of pointless. It's just a basic system, and I think it's about time we unscrew it. So something that seems common on HP machines is the inclusion of a single thumb screw that holds the side panel on. It's a very good design actually. We as a family had a brand new HP Vista machine quite a few years ago now. We must have bought that about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and yeah, that's since been replaced with 2 systems that I built. But they have this thumb screw design that you just undo the single thumb screw and it just hangs there, and then the side panel pops off like so. So here's the inside of the system. Not tons going on. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to show you guys around. You can see the standard power supply at the top. Not sure on the wattage, I haven't read the label yet. Coming down, you can see the rear case fan, very dusty. You can also see the CPU fan, which is branded by Cooler Master. You can see a big bundle of cables, power supply cables that are tied up. There's a SATA one here, so the power supply isn't totally ancient. The optical drive, the DVD writer is sitting up here of course, and this case does include some kind of quick release mechanism for both the optical drives and the hard drives, which is very cool. I believe this case can hold 3-4 hard drives, so it's pretty cool. The hard drive in here is IDE. I don't think there's any SATA on the motherboard, didn't see any SATA, but there you can see the standard 3 PCI expansion slots along with that modem sitting in the bottom there, so it's a very basic little configuration. Not sure if you guys can quite see, but there are indeed 4 RAM slots on this motherboard, which is quite cool because it looks like it's definitely a micro ATX motherboard. So there's 4 RAM slots, and I have taken out the sticks. They are 512 megabytes each. So, no, sorry, they're 256 megs each, so it's 512 megabytes in total. So it looks like we've got a pretty basic, you know, pretty old by now AMD Sempron based machine. ID hard disk, my guess is 80 gig, maybe 160 gig. We got 512 megs of RAM. I'm not even going to bother trying to guess the CPU speed, but it's not a bad little system. Could still be used for office work, basic internet browsing, things like that. So I might be able to clean it up a bit, make sure it's working, fresh install of XP, and it might be handy for someone, you know, sell it for 30, 40, 50 pounds, something like that. I've got some other accessories that I'm going to show you right now that might bump the price up a little bit more. So with the system, I was fortunate enough to get a HP branded keyboard, which is actually a really nice feeling keyboard to type with. I also got a mouse, an IC lead, a VGA cable, some random charger that, as far as I can tell, has nothing to do with the computer, and then the side panel is just sitting down there. So it's not a bad crop of free stuff at all. So this little PC could potentially be a little monster in the making. I'm quite looking forward to setting it up, getting it going. If all is well, what I'm probably going to do is grab another couple of 512 megabyte sticks. So we'll have two 256 meg sticks and two 512 meg sticks to bring it up to 1.5 gig of RAM, something like that. If it's cheap enough, I'll just grab 4 512s and throw it up to 2 gigs straight away. I would like to have a closer look at the motherboard. I can't see, actually. No, I was totally wrong. There are indeed SATA ports on the motherboard. There are 2 SATA ports on the motherboard, so it would be really nice to throw a SATA drive in here, get rid of the bulky IDE cable. There are 2 SATA ports, so I could use one for an optical drive and one for a hard drive. That all depends on the CPU though, but what I could do is check what socket the motherboard is, and then look for an Athlon or something like that second-hand on eBay that'll give much better performance. And also, I've got a load of older video cards lying around. If I could slap a video card in here, that would be really nice. So that would bring the system up quite a bit, especially changing out that Sempron with an Athlon or something along those lines. But what I'm going to do now is take my Power Mac G3 down from my desk and pop this in its place, plug it all into my setup, so monitor, keyboard, mouse, speakers, power and internet, and we're going to fire it up, have a little read of the specs, and just check that it all works. It may not even run. So I'm quite looking forward to doing this, because it's been quite a long time since I've had any free PCs to play around with. In fact, I think the last free PC I got was the one that I did up slightly for my parents' computer that's now just been replaced by that FM2 build that I did. So this is the first free PC I've had in quite a long time, so it's really nice to be digging into this kind of stuff again. So without further ado, let me throw this on my setup. Now, just a little note about when you are rushing plugging in PCs. Stuff like this can sometimes happen, and even though these pins could be bent back, what may happen is they may snap when I go to plug in the system. Now, this isn't a problem, it's a VGA cable, I've got absolutely tons of them. However, that's not the point. Just a little word of warning, I'm sure you guys have done this to VGA cables, but what isn't cool about doing this is this goes right underneath my desk setup. I run DVI on both of my monitors, but because my Power Mac G3 only has a single DVI output and the second display output is VGA, I use this for my G3, so this is permanently integrated into my setup. So it's now quite a big task to unscrew the other end from my monitor and to take out the connection from my setup in order to change the cable. So it's no biggie, but just a quick word of warning, VGA cables can be a nightmare if you try and plug them in like a complete doofus. Well, there's the system all plugged in with a new VGA cable. Let's hit that power button. So, quite loud, but you know. And we have the HP splash screen. Looking good. Hasn't changed. It's, I remember on the Vista machine that we had, it was pretty much like that. Interestingly, it doesn't really boot up, which isn't much of a problem at all, because I've jumped into the BIOS, I've made sure, you know, that things like the boot order and the boot driver set correctly and stuff like that. So the system works absolutely fine from what I can tell. You know, it boots up fine, nothing really happens afterwards, but it's probably just either a dead hard drive or just Windows is completely messed up. It's kind of unusual to see that it doesn't give any kind of Windows error, but it doesn't really matter. I bet if I threw a Windows CD in here right now, it would fire right up into the installer. But what I'm planning on doing is doing a little bit of further research after this video on this system, just checking what socket it is. Then I want to jump onto AMD's website and find out what's the fastest CPU I can put in that socket. And then I want to jump onto eBay and see if that CPU is affordable, try and get some RAM, and do up this system for maybe £40 if I can, if the power supply is decent-ish ish as well. If I want to, I might try and grab a second-hand SSD, but it's probably not worth it considering these are SATA 1.5 gigasecond ports, I guarantee you, simply because the system's pretty old. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It's another free PC. Expect to see some more coverage on this thing in the future, possibly some upgrades. Hey, you never know, I might even recase it. The case is really, really decent, but I don't really like the HP branding everywhere. So, you know, a recase might be coming along, but it's really nice that it's an ATX system. If I ever got given a BTX system, it's kind of useless because I haven't really got anything I can do with the BTX system, apart from just sell it straight up as it is, maybe a fresh install of Windows, and that's about it. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thanks a lot for checking out my free PC, and I'll see you in the next video.